Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is the latest in my monthly ranking series, in which I rank all the movies I saw for each and every month. And this time, we're ranking April 2019. In total, I saw 12 films throughout the month of April, including theatric releases as well as Netflix films, but all that premiered within the month and I was able to see. And honestly, this was a good month for me, I'd say. There's only one clunker amongst this entire list for me personally that I just didn't enjoy, but 11 on upward, I had fun with. I gave mostly positive reviews to. So it was a bit tough actually coming down with the ranking. The midsection of this ranking was pretty much neck and neck all the way through and through. Now, just as a disclaimer, of course, this is my own personal opinion. This is just how I enjoyed viewing these films and my personal experiences with them. It may not even necessarily be which film I think is the technically best made or any of that. It's just my own ranking on how I perceived them and enjoyed them myself. And I always am looking forward to seeing what everybody else's rankings look like. So listen to my ranking and share your own. And of course, leave your respectful opinions in that comment section. Also, I can only rank the films that I saw, and I only count first time viewings for these rankings. So I know there are several other smaller indie films that came out, such as High Life, that I really wanted to see, but unfortunately I just didn't get around to it this month. So not every film that was released is included, but all the new films I saw for the first time are here. So without further ado, let's kick things off. At number 12, I have Hellboy. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one I just did not enjoy viewing and was an easy last place for me. The look of Hellboy is so cool in this new movie, and the practical effects done on him are great. David Harbour also really embodies the character. And that's about all the good I can say, because the rest of it is just terrible. From the CGI to that script, woo, to the like Deadpool ripoff R rating where they really try to go gruesome to humor and funny. None of that worked. I mean, this CG was so horrendous. The story was horrible. Just, I mean, pretty much everything about Hellboy flopped as hard as its box office numbers. It wasn't good. At number 11, I have Breakthrough. I thought this was a very solid little faith-based film revolving around a based on true events story of a child who fell through ice, stayed under there for 15 minutes, and had a miraculous recovery that nobody saw coming. Chrissy Metz delivers an amazing performance, and honestly, she is the pillar that holds this entire movie up because she is so good, so heartfelt. That character is really fleshed out well, and she does a lot of that work. Overall, the story is really astounding, and it's definitely a feel-good movie that accomplishes what it sets out to do. The reason it comes in at number 11 for me, it's just not my personal favorite genre. It gets a little bit heavy-handed in the faith department for my own personal taste, and I always get a little weary when we get into science and medicine versus religion, and there was quite a few moments of that. But overall, a really solid film, but according to my own personal ranking, it's just at number 11. At number 10, I have The Curse of La Llorona. I liked this one quite a bit more than pretty much everyone else, it seems. I had a lot of fun with The Curse of La Llorona. I thought the atmosphere built really well, and importantly, I thought that it used a lot of jump scares, but most of them were done well. I thought it had a lot of quality jump scares, and when the jump scares work well, I don't mind them. Now, it does rely too heavily on those jump scares, let's be real, and some of that CG, in particular on La Llorona herself, we could have used with seeing her face a few less times. But I thought it stayed within good faith in trying to be authentic to the original Mexican folklore. The acting performances, especially from these children, and of course Linda Cardellini, great. So it doesn't reinvent the wheel, it's not the next horror masterpiece, but it was a solid scary movie for me. At number 9, I have Little. Another comedy in which we are putting a grown adult in a child's body. We're making them little again. And I thought this was pretty funny. I laughed consistently throughout the film. I had a good time with Little. Regina Hall was so good in the limited screen time she had, but honestly, Issa Rae is a gem and a talent. The chemistry our three leads had with each other was stellar. The message was a really positive message that I enjoyed seeing on the big screen, and most importantly, it made me laugh. I mean, it's a comedy, and I laughed quite a bit. It was right up my alley of humor. In saying that, it doesn't really elevate anywhere. I mean, it's a pretty standard comedic affair. It definitely falls flat in plenty of areas, and it's not revolutionary for the comedy genre, but I had a good enough time with it, and that gets it number 9. At number 8, I have Unicorn Store. Brie Larson's directorial debut on Netflix, starring both herself and Samuel L. Jackson. So I actually put off seeing this film until right at the end of the month because I knew I was doing this ranking. And I don't know, it just didn't seem to connect with me through the marketing. I was like, oh goodness, I think I'm not going to like this movie. Surprise! I really enjoyed myself. What a quirky, fun coming of age story that doesn't only preach embracing your individuality and learning to love yourself, but really embodies that essence through and through with the film itself. Brie Larson is great in this movie. I think she fit the role perfectly. Samuel L. Jackson is playing this really fun, quirky character that is just enough Samuel L. Jackson that you're like, yes, but also quite a departure from his usual roles. And I really enjoyed seeing him in this kind of quirky little character. The parents were a lot of fun, and exploring that dynamic was very interesting. And the messaging was just handled so well that I was left smiling at the end of the film. I loved it, and I loved that we didn't take like cynical turns. It really stayed true and authentic to its tone. And I think Brie did a very solid job out the gate with her first directing gig. At number 7, I have Storm Boy. This Australian remake of another Australian film was such a delight. I had a wonderful time watching Storm Boy. Now, granted, I have never seen the original film, but this just had so much heart and feeling. It was adorable while delivering some really powerful messages that ranged from the treatment of Indigenous people to obviously poaching and loving animals. I thought all of it was handled very well. It wasn't overly thick or overly sentimental. Now it does play pretty heavy by the animal best friend kind of tropes, but it's with a pelican. Who knew a pelican could be this full of charisma, energy, and star power? But Mr. Percival is so adorable and so enchanting in this movie. Jai Courtney gives one of his best performances. Jeffrey Rush is wonderful. The child actors here are great. And as I said, it's just a really heartfelt, sweet, endearing film. So it makes it up to number 7. At number 6, I have Pet Sematary. Now, this film definitely divided critics and audiences alike, and I came out on the side that really enjoyed the film. And I really have to chalk it up to the fact that really strong atmosphere takes me a long way, especially with the horror genre. And Pet Sematary did a wonderful job of laying out this very dark, pretty bleak, and haunting atmosphere right from the opening. And it doesn't let up. It stays creepy, it stays uneasy, and you feel kind of gross just living through the film, but that works so well for what it is you're watching. I thought they doubled down on a lot of the horror elements. A lot of the changes they made worked pretty well for me as well. Got some pretty new iconic imagery, especially with those masked children in the forest. Plus, what they did with Churchill was so much better than the original. That cat was amazing. Now, some of the changes I didn't love and I didn't think worked quite as effectively. But overall, as a sum of a film, I really had a good time with Pet Sematary. So it comes in smack dab in the middle at number 6. At number 5, I have Disney Nature's Penguins. What can I say? I am an animal sucker, and I really enjoy these sweet little documentaries about animals that come from the Disney Nature branch. And Penguins was definitely one of the better Disney Nature films we've received. What a cute, adorable, fun, wonderful little film they produced here. Steve the Penguin is so cute. I mean, irresistible. How can you not just love this little penguin? And these little Adelie penguins, just as creatures, being themselves, are so entertaining. They're cute, but they're also really funny. They're just all over the place with their little personalities. It's adorable, and it is so fun to watch them. Plus, I learned some things. I laughed a lot. I awed off pretty much the whole film. Now, I did feel Ed Helms' narration was a little bit much, and the musical choices were a little over the top. And that's what kept it from being like a complete home run for me. But overall, Penguins more than delivered what it needed to for the type of film it is. So, it's number 5. I thought it was adorable. At number 4, I have Missing Link. The latest from Laika Studios delivers yet again. I'd say the studio is 5 for 5 good films. And Missing Link was a very good film. I thought the humor worked very well in this movie, and the voice cast all really delivered. Hugh Jackman was wonderful in this movie. I thought he was so good. Zach Galifianakis as Susan was so good and fit the character perfectly. Zoe Saldana delivered what she could deliver with the role. A slightly stereotypical role, but her vocal talents were definitely on full display here. And it was a fun adventure. It was a fun story. It heavily follows a lot of tropes that we see in these adventure stories, and that's what makes it feel a little bit weaker in my estimation compared to the more rich and original films that they've produced to this point. But it executes this formulaic story very well. I was always entertained. I was endeared to the characters. Seeing our main characters' growth over the film was really something. And the messaging was never heavy-handed, but spot on. Plus, the animation is stunning. I mean, Laika always delivers stunning animation, but they were definitely at the top of their game here. So while not perfect and not the best Laika film, you don't have to be the best from Laika to still beat out most all of the other animated competition. This studio knows how to deliver a great film, and they did it again with Missing Link. At number 3, I have Shazam! So I'm not gonna lie, might be a little biased because I actually met and got my picture taken with Zachary Levi this month. But I got my picture taken because I freaking love this film. What a fun, genuine, heartfelt superhero movie. Shazam is what I was hoping to see the DCEU start to deliver more frequently, and now they are. Zachary Levi is perfect casting for the role. He is so much fun. You can just see the joy beaming through him, and he is perfect for the role of Shazam. I also thought Asher Angel and Jack Dylan Grazer were also really strong in the roles. All of our child actors actually were really strong. There's so much heart in here. There are so many laughs. It's just such a fun time through and through. Whether it is the comedic bits, I thought the darker moments worked for me personally. They were fine. Or we're just having a good time, kicking back, laughing, in the action, whatever it is, it was working for me. Now, some of the CGI gets a little bit wonky. Some of the reasoning gets a little bit wonky. And our villain is definitely a weak spot for me overall, especially because he's kind of a disappointment because there was so much potential there and they just did nothing with it. But Shazam was still a whole lot of fun. And as of right now, my second favorite film within the DCEU. So, number 3 it is for the month of April. At number 2, I have The Mustang. What a film. April has certainly become the month for dramatic, independent horse movies. But thankfully for us, the last few years have delivered some great ones in that little niche genre. And The Mustang delivered right on trend. This was a stellar film. What works so well in The Mustang is the parallels between our main human character and our horse, and their parallels and growth as characters parallel to one another is really just something special to watch, I would say. It's very unique and beautiful and really touching, honestly. Matthias Schoenaerts is so good in this movie. That is, if not my favorite performance of the year so far, top 3. He is stellar, and I wish this movie had come out later in the year so he had a chance to get recognized for it. But honestly, he is so good. Bruce Dern also turns in a really strong performance here. Script, the dialogue is so good between the characters. It never once feels anything but real and authentic. And the script, in terms of story, unfolds pitch perfect. Just when you think we're going to go Cheeseville or we're going to go Hollywood, it brings us right back and it says, no, no, no. We're gonna show you the reality of the situation. We don't have those happy endings, but it also doesn't feel cruel or mean just to be. It is authentic and real, and I loved that about this film. The Mustang definitely held down that top spot right up until the end, and for good reason, because it is one to definitely check out if you haven't seen it yet. So what came through last second to take that top spot from the Mustang? Well, Avengers Endgame. Oh, what an experience. Not just a film, a complete and total, well-rounded experience. I can't say it enough, honestly, how impressive I find Endgame to be in context of what it needed to be. Over 10 years and 21 films of buildup led us to Endgame's release. We all are so invested in these characters, in these actors, in these stories, in this universe. And to cap off a 22 film saga in a way that is both satisfying yet quality, near impossible. I mean, that is a huge feat. Some people can't even do it on a 3-film trilogy, and Marvel just delivered it on a 22 film saga. That's incredible. That's a big reason I have so much appreciation and awe for this film, is the fact that audiences and critics alike are enamored with it, as am I. I'm enamored with it. That almost feels like it's impossible. It feels like it shouldn't happen, right? But they did it. They did it in some kind of fashion. Endgame is able to weave in all of these storylines and all of these moments that will make fans cheer, make fans cry, make fans gasp, make them yell out. It runs you through the gambit, but you'll come out feeling that's it. That was the ending I've been waiting for all of this time. Satisfied. Completely 100% satisfied, happy, and in awe. And I'm not going to go too much more into why Endgame is number 1, because we're not even to the second weekend in the movie theater, so I'm not going to be giving away anything in this ranking video, certainly, but it definitely earned this. The word epic is thrown around a lot, but I don't know that I can think of a better film more deserving of the title than Avengers Endgame, and that's why it took my number 1 spot for April 2019. So that is my ranking of all of the films I saw in April 2019. What did you think of how I ranked these films? And of course, make sure that you share your own ranking of all the films you saw in April in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!